馬刺對第6種子鳳凰城太陽，係呢個系列賽嘅第2場賽事。
6 of the 9 points for the Phoenix Suns scored in the paint as we check out Doug's keys to game.
好啦，咁我哋今日咧就比賽會喺聖安東尼奧馬刺嘅主場進行啦。咁而家場數咧就係1-0嘅。咁喺呢個系列賽嘅第1場咧打咗去雙加時咧先至分出勝負，最後馬刺隊係以2分擊敗太陽嘅。咁啊，其實比賽咧就開始咗冇幾耐嘅。咁而家我哋見到咧就形勢咧應該係鳳凰城太陽隊開局咧係唔錯，投射命中率暫時咧係有66點幾個%嘅。咁啊，首先呢，就報道下咧今日兩隊嘅先發陣容啦。拿殊、貝爾、格蘭希爾、史都達米亞同埋奧尼爾嘅主隊白色衫，一個 pick and roll 交俾鄧肯啊 roll in。咁啊呢球波呢，就係馬刺今日只係第2個入球，2球咧都係由鄧肯包辦嘅。馬刺嘅先發陣容呢，柏加、芬尼、保雲、鄧肯同埋奧拔圖嘅。好啦，咁我哋見到而家奧拔圖咧想話將呢個奧尼爾推開出少少位置，哇！後面鄧肯一下咧將個罩翻落嚟。
鄧肯一路咧即係喺度報緊奧尼爾㗎，奧尼爾係啊冇錯啊，帶到埋去一個好近嘅位置啊。咁但係佢跳起嗰下啦，你見到佢嘅腳離地真係唔係好遠啦。鄧肯一路抱住佢，再加埋咧奧拔圖喺前面干擾住佢，咁所以呢個波啦，鄧肯咧就僵得好清脆。
9-4，比賽開始咗冇幾耐啊，咁啊暫時係鳳凰城太陽嘅領先 ，Steve Nash 兜過一個單擋，咁啊但係交唔到俾佢，甩翻出去外線。A 米咁啊，少大米呢個波上嗰陣時咧，就好似俾卻特譚馬士咧拍咗少少㗎，跟住個快攻 Tony Parker 搞掂。咦，我哋見到咧馬刺個陣容咧換咗少少咯喎，收埋咗奧拔圖，啱咧先換咗咧贊奴比利同埋咧40號呢個 Kurt Thomas 入嚟啊，一換咗入嚟咧即刻有建樹。呢球波啦 ，TD 封底線嗰個位啦，封唔晒啊，俾阿史都達米亞啦鏟埋籃底建功。
兩隊嘅正選陣容今日都係一模一樣噶啦，同 Game 1啊，同第一場比賽。咁但係最大唔同嘅地方可能咧就係兩隊球員咧就應該係鳳凰城入邊啦。咁啊佢兩個主力球員嘅狀態就係格蘭希爾咁同埋拿殊啦。睇翻呢個波先啦，咁啊寇特譚馬士就炒咗㗎。拿殊打第一場嘅時候咧就其實佢自己嘅身體就唔係咁好咁，最近咧染咗感冒啦。咁但係最後今場比賽咧，佢自己就話已經係100%康復㗎啦。咁啊再加埋格蘭希爾啦。咁上一場亦都係個鼠溪筋拉傷咗，有少少影響。咁但係佢亦都話咧，今場比賽嘅狀態啦，比上一場咧就好咗好多㗎。
好啦，咁啊頭先係對錯一位㗎，咁啊史都達米亞想話爆呢個咧，贊奴比利。好啦，咁啊籃板而家 TD 咧帶翻上嚟先，柏加嗱呢個系列賽咧，柏加其實係一個好關鍵嘅人物嚟嘅。其實佢今日咧對住拿殊咧，就好似今日較早前咧黃蜂對住達拉斯嗰個控衞嘅 matchup 啊！名氣較大嘅控衞對住一個較年輕嘅控衞，但係兩個人咧年紀有啲距離啦，速度啦，其實喺今季我哋呢幾季睇過嚟啦，太陽隊係冇法子鉗制到 Tony Parker 嘅切入嘅。呢度啱吹咗啦，卻對譚馬士犯規。
嗱，冇辦法，啲鉗制嘅切入咧，就係內線球員咧就要做得更加好嘅準備啊！咁但係好多時候啦，嗱，譬如雖然奧尼爾喺中間啊，咁其實對於咧就柏加鏟埋攞分咧都有一定嘅難度喺度嘅。咁但係好多時候啦，馬刺隊就會好中意咧就扯奧尼爾啦，就係出嚟啊，咁啊喺佢身上咧就係打個 pick and roll 啊，咁啊令到奧尼爾都離開佢自己嘅防守嘅位置，咁啊從而咧俾柏加有更加多嘅機會咧踩埋去。咁但係今日咧可唔可以繼續咧即係針對呢方面咧喺咁嘅情況之下啦，俾柏加啦踩埋攞多啲分。
而到底奧尼爾同埋史都達米亞兩個太陽嘅高佬啦，可唔可以避免有太多個人犯規？可唔可以咧兩個人咧更多時間一齊上陣啊？咁呢個亦都係佢哋今日啊爭勝嘅關鍵嚟㗎。因為奧尼爾喺上一場嘅早段咧已經係進入咗個人較多個人犯規。咁同埋奧尼爾如果係 check 住 TD 嘅話啦，可唔可以 one on one 有較多時間 one on one 啊守得住啊鄧肯咧？鄧肯而家想話扯佢出嚟高位㗎，咁啊贊到俾你。卻特譚馬士搏腳俾阿 TD， 嗱喺牛角位嗰度撞咗前框嘅
，OK 喎，呢球守得唔錯喎。咁啊首先咧即係閘咗啦，鄧肯啦踩埋喺個線度，跟住咧再走埋去啦，係干擾咗佢嘅。
好 TD 守啊奧尼爾入中間，哇呢球
呢球不過實在係有啲暈啫奧尼爾啊。其實 TD 已經真係孭個位孭得好好㗎啦。
15-8啊，太陽咧領先7分。咁啊，拿殊咧想話焗呢一個咧柏加啦落去啦 A 米嗰個陷阱嗰度，咁啊但係反到個波出嚟，哇！譚馬士，哎呀，兩球咧其實都可以話係佢咧，絕對係佢射程範圍之內。頭先喺底線嗰球，今次喺咧葫蘆頂附近，可惜啊，佢 Thomas 咧都係炒粉㗎。
其實呢啲 pick and pop 咧，即係對於譚馬士嚟講係佢嘅擅長嚟嘅。睇翻呢個波先啦，哎呀， 可惜啊！
單手啦放個下手 finger roll 上去，好啦，輪到呢邊咧有機會咧插到一個快攻喎，保雲。
我諗啊，鳳凰城梗唔介意保雲咁樣得平跳射啦。如果打一個咁嘅快攻嘅話，
如果有 numbers 嘅話咧，呢啲球已經呢啲真係啊鏟埋籃底先啦。
但係可惜係保雲啊！
好啦，咁啊，史杜達米亞扯咗阿卻迪譚馬士出嚟喎，咁啊喺力壓之下，呢兩位咧舊年係隊友嚟㗎。咁啊，史杜達米亞啦開局開得好好啊，攞咗10分啦已經，17-8啊！
帕加。
好啦，咁啊啱啱新鮮出爐嘅 NBA 最佳第6人啊，逼阿贊奴比利咧走右邊。好啦，奧尼爾搶翻個籃板。
嗱，今日你會見到好多時間咧，贊奴比利會係被 overplay 啦，去佢嘅右手邊㗎。因為上一場臨尾啊，咁啊貝爾守唔住嗰球咧，就係佢自己都話咧有一個即係。做咗一個錯誤嘅判斷啊，就係俾贊奴比利啊走佢嘅正手位，即係左手邊啦，鏟籃，所以咧結果咧俾佢鏟埋攞到最後嘅關鍵入球。哇！帕加呢球波咧加個轉身，以為有米咧，點知後面奧尼爾咧咁將個波咧拍翻落嚟。所以今日咧即係喺外線防守方面啦，鳳凰城咧即係會特別針對翻啦，即係帕加同埋贊奴比利，好多時候咧就將會 overplay 佢哋去佢哋嘅弱邊嘅。嗱咁啊，所以焗嘅格蘭希爾走底線啊，佢好醒目啊，扯翻個波出嚟，闊少少位重新組織過。史杜達米亞今日熱辣辣啊！哇！佢不嬲都熱辣辣嘅啦，呢一排都嚇。但係今日似乎咧，佢係譚馬士暫時就喺佢身上守唔住喎。射入咗5球，攞咗12分啊！最令佢係譚馬士頭痛嘅地方就係佢就算閘到唔俾史杜達米亞踩埋去中間攞分嘅話咧，但係史杜達米亞啲中距離實在太準啦。嗱呢球波咧，其實奧尼都算係走得 OK 嘅，不過俾鄧肯咧 cut 啲埋好近嘅出手啊！咁啊，太陽都絕對之中係希望咁做嘅 ，one on one 守住佢，唔等啊佢哋唔可以咧咁容易打 inside out， 唔可以俾芬尼啊或者係其他贊奴比利等射手、保雲等射手喺外邊咧揦着嗰個手感啊！對坐位喎，拿樹 crossover 過一 cut 譚馬士，今次落晚搞掂，好靚啊！咁啊都係當然啦，對坐位啦，咁啊拿樹咧亦都做翻一個正確選擇。咁你見到啦，一個箭步，因為即係膊頭假動作已經 fit 咗去失咗重心啊！佢條譚馬士咧完全係追唔到嘅。今日咧最大嘅分別咧，同上一場咧就係打到呢刻為止啊，奧尼爾咧冇犯規㗎，所以咧打到而家第一節到3分幾鐘嗰陣時咧，都仲係用啊奧尼爾可以去 mark 呢一個鄧肯。講到奧尼爾好快脆，搞掂，點止冇犯規啊！你睇下佢幾快啊！即係守完一球之後，即刻衝上嚟前場啦，攞咗一個咁靚嘅 low post 嘅位置啊！23-12，太陽領先。拉空一邊喎，咁啊打 pick and roll in。哎呀，可惜啊！咁啊呢一傳咧，其實個主意就相當好嘅，咁但係咧就喺中腰咧，鄧肯未攞翻個波，已經俾格蘭希爾攞咗。拿樹咁啊，啱啱你識特買嗰度 roll in 㗎啦，貝爾3分球搞掂，需唔需要嗌個 time out 啦？26-12啊！第一節到咗最後3分鐘左右，波普域治教練啊嗌咗個主隊嘅暫停。咁趁呢個時間咧，我哋亦都睇一睇啦。咁啊26-12，史杜達米亞同埋奧尼爾兩個高佬加埋已經係射入咗19分啦。咁至於馬刺隊呢邊呢，鄧肯8分，帕加4分。阿根廷咧名將啊，贊奴比利今年咧係成為馬刺歷史上啊佢哋第一位球員啦，成為全季 NBA 嘅最佳第6人嘅。咁啊，其實咧即係贊奴比利，我哋都講咗好多次啦。佢根本咧，你睇翻個表現咧，佢係一個超級球星 superstar， 喺任何球隊咧都基本上咧係可以做到先發球員嘅。咁啊，但係喺波普域治教練嘅排陣之下咧，好多時咧就係想話咧佢作為板凳球員咧上嚟啊，帶起成隊波嗰個活力啊，增強咧馬刺嗰個板凳嘅得分能力。哇！咁啊睇嚟啦，唔單止有個獎座喎，贏咗架車添喎，因為啱見到佢咧攞呢架車嘅鎖匙啊。今季佢打74場裏邊咧，有51場啦，都係咧作為板凳嘅身份上陣嘅。嗱咁啊呢場波其實個發展啊，同第一場係有少少相似。睇翻頭先，爭到俾你。嗱，芬尼咧都講過啊，佢話咧以前咧未做佢隊友之前啊，覺得贊奴比利有啲波咧真係符碌㗎。好似頭先咁啊，嗱，唔知佢點樣咧，又轉手，跟住好窄嘅角度之下啦，或者係兩個防守球員又俾佢過到，又俾佢出到手，覺得係符碌。但係你做得佢隊友之後咧，你覺得呢啲就係絕對唔符碌㗎，因為呢啲就係佢個 style 嚟㗎。不過我覺得即係贊奴比利點解好多時候鏟籃咁成功？除咗佢運球技術係好之外啦，佢鏟籃即係喺運球過程當中嘅保護個波嗰個 做個保護個波啦，係做得相當好嘅。你好難咧喺佢手上啦，即係喺運球過程當中咧，將佢嘅波咧係拍走啊，或者係干擾到佢嘅。咁呢一點好重要。同埋佢可以喺即係咁尷尬角度出手啦。其中一個原因就係咧，佢喺跳起咗之後喺空中啊扭動身體嗰個能力咧，真係好強嘅。好啦，咁啊交翻出嚟外線，貝爾 Roger Bell。嗱，頭先講啦，話呢場波個發展好似同上一場有少少相似啦，就係喺早段啊，太陽領先。上一場太陽咧一度係領先過16分㗎，咁而家咧佢哋領先咗14分。好 ，TD 入樽 ，TD 今日咧第5個入球啊！呢個波笠得靚啊嚇，咁啊對方做個繞前防守，咁啊同埋咧即係鄧肯同埋個框之間有咁多個空間啊，所以笠埋個主意係做得相當之好。我諗而家波普捷教練希望咧就係贊奴比利啦，憑住活力啦，將個你識得入樽咩 ？A 米都話我都即刻大力坐落去攞14分啊！喺第一節31比17，我諗佢而家就係想贊奴比利協助啦，喺打完呢一節嗰陣時啦，將嗰個對方嘅領先優勢咧，譬如收窄至大約係9分啊、8分咁樣啦。帕加踩翻入去，烏杜卡遠射唔中㗎，因為其實咧兩隊波嗰個進攻嗰個結構嘅風格咧係唔同啦，馬刺就唔係嗰類話咧，即係可以喺2-3分鐘裏邊，Steve Nash 跳起咗先交波，呢球波你交失咗 ，TD， 哇 ，TD 呢個 crossover， 竟然你有幾可見到 TD 用 crossover 搞到對方鞋都甩埋㗎，呢球波交俾帕加左邊 cut in， 仲要交得好靚喎，一路帶上嚟啦，個視線好清晰，好知道自己嘅隊友個位置喺邊度。我諗頭先嗰球咧，未必係入到 NBA 10大金球，但係對於鄧肯嚟講啦，係佢自己個人生涯裏邊10大金球都未定。呢度咪有一個 turnover，A 米加塞波呢邊有一個快攻，帕加上嚟攞板搞掂，連中2球。好嘢啊！咁呢段時間咧，鳳凰城咧就連續有2個 turnover之下啦，俾到快馬刺隊啊，咁啊即刻咧2個快攻，咁啊即刻咧佢同樣地咧要嗌翻個暫停啦。嗱 ，cut 到而家咧係10分啊，對方優勢。我諗啊，波普捷教練就係想話咧喺呢一節之後咧8分、9分左右，最好8分、7、8分咁樣最好啦。因為佢哋唔係好似太陽嗰類啦，馬刺啊講緊，唔係嗰個太陽嗰類可以喺譬如1分零2分鐘之內一口氣追10幾分㗎，唔係嗰類咁嘅進攻㗎。31比21，太陽咧領先10分。咁啊，而家嗌咗個 time out 啊，咁啊，仲有51.2秒喺第一節。不過我個人咧就覺得贊奴比利攞呢個第6人獎項啦，即係有好有唔好啦。有好嘅地方就當然係即係證明咗佢嘅實力啦，係相當之好啦。呢樣嘢其實都唔需要啦，就係點樣特別證明嘅啦。不過我覺得就係稍為覺得唔好嘅地方咧，就係其實呢個獎項應該係表揚一啲冇辦法之做到正選，但係咧佢哋喺後備方面咧又都係好貢獻嘅一啲嘅球員噶嘛，一啲綠葉型嘅球員噶嘛。咁但係即係你擺呢個超級巨星走咗去打呢個位置喎，咁自不然呢個位置就令到一啲嘅綠葉型球員咧即係喪失咗啦，係攞呢個獎項嘅機會。咁啊即係可能喺呢一方面咧就唔係太過理想啊。咁啊但係從另一個角度去睇咧，就係贊奴比利啊願意啦能夠即係其實佢喺任何球隊都可以打到先發㗎。咁啊但係佢願意喺呢一隊波啦做到第6人咧，其實都可以話咧係佢自己對自己個人統計上一個犧牲嚟嘅。咁啊其實佢上陣嘅時間咧就唔係話好多嘅，31分鐘左右，31分鐘啦。但係今年係全隊嘅平均得分最高嘅球員嚟嘅。咁啊有另外一個睇法就係因為贊奴比利嗰個 style 啦，真係好拼命三郎嘅風格啦。即係好多人會覺得贊奴比利如果上陣嘅時間越多咧，佢嗰個統計咧或者會冇咁華麗都未定嘅喎。哇！巴布沙呢個波吹咗嘅，吹停咗先。佢嘅統計可能冇咁華麗喎，因為佢可能會受傷多咗啦，或者咧佢會即係咁拼啊。咁佢打得越多啦，佢未必嗰個成績會咁好。呢個真係唔同嘅睇法啦。咁啊，總之佢就係今年啊成為第一位馬刺球員取得咧係最佳第6人嘅獎座嘅。咁啊，舊年嘅第1啊變咗今年嘅第2啦喎，巴布沙就攞咗亞軍嘅。兩季嘅最佳第6人啦，都喺呢一場賽事裏邊。31比21，太陽 head 住10分。巴布沙。咁啊，而家咧就太陽隊打返較為嘅陣勢啦，基利石都係入咗嚟㗎。Boris Diaw 迪奧33比21，贊奴比利一個 crossover， 哇！真係你睇佢真係嗱，身體嘅平衡攞得好好啊！但係中間佢真係佢跳起咗落緊嗰嚟先單手，好似自由神像式咁樣啦，擺定個 pose，然後將個波射上去。 咁即係帶波埋個過程當中，其實咧就受到好多干擾啦，咁令佢身體嘅平衡咧就亦都係受到影響嘅。咁但係埋到去咧，完成嗰下完咗得好好。
好啦，咁啊，迪奧啦喺臨尾連中2球，領先嘅12分咧就係太陽嘅。
第一次打到嚟而家，鳳凰城成隊加埋得2個犯規嘅。
贊奴比利3分球 ，yes。好啦，咁啊一節打完。我諗其實波普治教練當然想領先啦，但係而家咁嘅形勢咧算係 OK 噶啦。頭先落後較多，而家咧打完一節之後，太陽係領先緊9分，35-26。咁剛才咧，我哋捉住阿但東尼教練咧問咗幾句㗎。嗱，今日咧奧尼爾同埋史杜達米亞兩個咧都冇過犯前身啦，有幾大嘅分別啦？佢話當然好大嘅分別啦。咁啊，因為咧係我哋攻擊對方嗰個策略裏邊咧兩個好重要嘅棋子啊。咁佢話咧希望可以保持呢種情況啦，繼續落去嘅。咁啊講到話贊奴比利一入嚟咧，即刻咧就交到功課啦。佢話其實佢成季都交到功課㗎。贊奴比利啊喺第一節啦就入咗3球，攞得8分。其實我睇到咧就馬刺嘅鐵三角啦，係打得唔錯㗎。鄧肯10分啦，贊奴比利同埋柏加啦，都係有8分嘅。咁啊，但係除咗佢哋3個之外啦，馬刺係冇其他任何球員咧攞到分。
好，嚟到第二節啦，開波啦，贊奴比利咧就搏到貝爾嘅犯規嘅。
咁啊，至於喺太陽呢一邊啦，史杜達米亞就射8球咧，入咗6個，熱辣辣啊，14分。O'Neal 咧都有7分㗎，呢兩個高佬夾埋喺第一節咧攞咗21分。
咁啊，第二節開波，咁啊收埋兩個高佬啊，咁啊打過咧較為啦，哇，都幾矮嘅陣容啊。咁啊，芬尼咧呢個波咧邊走邊射炒咗。
芬尼咧喺佢成個職業生涯裏邊咧，都係一個所謂叫 volume shooter， 因為佢出手多啦，先射得起個手感嘅。咁同埋咧比較容易應該就係打翻 inside out， 但係而家你見到馬刺咧就唔係打個 inside out 嘅模式。
迪奧
OK 喎，咁啊迪奧咧計埋喺第一節末段咧連中咗3球咯
喎，3球當中有2球喺奧拔圖面前啊。好似頭先呢個波咁樣入嘅。
我諗而家馬刺啦喺呢段時間啊，鐵三角打起咗啦，佢哋而家需要啦就係啦其他嘅輔助球員出嚟啦，係拉起即係打起個手感啊。唔係打 inside out 嘅話啦，可以用贊奴比利用切入分球嘅模式啦，為芬尼啊或者係保雲或者古道卡其他球員咧製造機會。
哇！基利石估唔到佢 mark 贊奴比利 mark 得咁好啊！頭先嗰球波啊！贊奴比利無論去到邊度啦，啲位俾佢閘咗，臨尾出手嗰下，佢仲趕得切咧，就舉高隻手啦，干擾埋啦贊奴比利嘅起手添。好啦，咪又係啦，就想喺奧拔圖面前咧揾着數㗎。咁呢個波咧，頭先我咪吹佢有少少擁人啦。唔係喎，奧拔圖啊，吹咗。
吹奧拔圖犯規啊！哇！咁啊，迪奧啦，嗱喺第一節末段啦，射入咗2球之後啦，好明顯呢一段時間佢信心好夠㗎，因為迪奧最大嘅問題有時咧就係嗰個投入感啊，唔係好穩定啊。咁你見到佢咧強行咧用背籃弓去攻呢一個咧，比佢大隻好多嘅奧拔圖添啊！睇下呢度點樣換法先嗱，今日咧另外嗰2場嘅季後賽賽事啦，黃蜂隊127比103喺主場啦，再次贏咧係達拉斯嘅。咁至於奧蘭多啦，最後咧就喺主場以1分險勝咧多倫多。
咁啊，兩隊咧都係2比0領先㗎啦，而家紐奧遠。
哇！你喺杜偉後活呢2場波啊，都係有20-20嗰隻 double 啊！哇！38比26啊，太陽領先12分。
好啦，咁啊贊奴比利咁啊箍住個波咧外圍，咁啊基利成喺佢前面㗎，又係 overplay 佢走住右邊㗎，咁但係咧你唔賣佢咩？咁啊佢隨時咧會射個3分球㗎喎。呢一度咧贊奴比利邊走邊射，自己踩翻個籃板，再補多下落緊。
咁啊 TD 咧出咗嚟啦，咁頭先咧高位同佢 set 個 pick 呢球波明顯咧就落緊㗎。嗱咁啊彈後框啊，咁啊唔好彩個 long rebound 彈翻落佢手上。
好啦，基利石咪鏟埋中間啦，交翻出嚟，巴布沙俾人困咗一下喎，巴布沙，我再交翻過嚟，迪奧、格蘭希爾，咪呢個波咧，巴布沙 in and out 嘅，又係贊奴比利啊，搶翻隻籃板，贊奴比利3分球，
呢一球波贊奴比利13分啊！ 咁啊，贊奴比利打得非常之出色嘅。喺早段太陽都開局得好好啦，但係而家咧太陽只係領先7分，全部都係靠贊奴比利喺出嚟嗰陣時，今日咧好進取，加上係手感又好啊，將成個形勢咧扭轉翻過嚟啊！而家
好啦，鄧肯一個人咧就對住阿奧尼爾起唔到手啊，交翻出嚟咧，基利石咁啊自己帶到甩埋單刀，又係贊奴比利啊
！15分啊，好快脆咧，佢已經係變成咗全場得分最高嘅球員啦！今日絕對啦，今日咧呢場波真係證明到咧，贊奴比利咧係成為最佳第6人啦，係一個實至名歸嘅選擇嚟嘅。而家馬刺都只係落後5分啦。當然頭先我提過鐵三角都打得好啊，但係贊奴比利係暫時啦，佢哋能夠扭轉形勢啦，最大嘅原因。
馮一咁這個 screen 想挑戰奧尼爾喎，但係鄧肯喺後邊啊執死雞黃雀在後，不過即係落到犯規嘅。
犯規喺呢個波因為撕破咗第一外線嘅防守啦，奧尼爾要走埋嚟協防嘅，咁樣走埋嚟協防嘅話咧，漏咗呢個鄧肯，俾佢搶個進攻籃板。嗱，喺廣告之前咧，我哋睇翻下咧贊奴比利嘅表現啊，已經係射入咗15分啦，而家主隊馬刺落後5分，33比38。歡迎翻嚟 ESPN， 呢兩間球會喺舊年嘅準決賽咧就碰頭嘅，咁啊馬刺就4比2啊贏咗太陽。咁我哋睇翻下啦，最近啊幾位馬刺嘅球員啊，包括有芬尼啦，去到啦當地一個社區啦，參與社區嘅慈善活動。
Suns right now on a 7-0 run. Diaw just picked up his second personal foul.
How about these numbers?
翻到嚟 AT&T 中心，芬尼今日只係出手1次嘅啫。馬刺攞咗33分，全部都由佢哋嘅鐵三角包辦，帕加、贊奴比利同埋鄧肯。咁啊，3個人都建立咗個手感啦。我諗而家喺上半場剩餘嘅時間啦，我相信咧波普治教練啊會叫阿鄧肯同埋阿贊奴比利同埋帕加啦就揾下芬尼或者係其他人咧建立翻佢哋嘅手感啦，因為咧成場波如果繼續咁打落去嘅話咧，佢哋會打得非常之辛苦啊！咁啊，而家贊奴比利咧坐低唞一陣啦，咁睇下可唔可以咧打個 inside out， 因為馬刺隊佢哋嘅進攻咧係中意由內至外嘅。咁啊，但係調翻轉頭嚟講，頭先我哋講今日太陽隊一個關鍵就係咧。睇下奧尼爾啦，可唔可以 one on one 咧守得住呢個鄧肯？我哋今日睇到咧，其實大部分時間佢都係咧 one on one 咧 mark 到鄧肯，雖然都俾鄧肯頭先喺佢身上咧係入到2球啊。
咁但係當然你唔可以完全阻止到鄧肯入唔到波啦。當然啦，就係要鄧肯嘅即係更加花更加多嘅努力啊，先至咧可以換取呢啲入球翻。
提高佢出手嘅難度。如果俾佢入到波嘅話，但係只要唔好咧令佢就 inside out 嘅方法咧拉起咗啦，帶起咗外線球員嗰個手感啊。史魯達米亞搞掂。
反而覺得今日咧卻到譚馬士咧就似乎真係冇乜符啊，對住啊史魯達米亞嚇。mark 貼啲又俾佢過咗 ，mark 得唔貼咧又俾佢中距離搞掂。好啦，烏杜卡埋到去啦，冇乜位啦，加翻出嚟咧芬尼帕加。咪就一個單擋啊，帕加啦埋到奧尼爾身邊啦，回馬槍掟翻過嚟，鄧肯一個假動作，踩埋去中間，但係終於咧俾人咧偷咗啦，格蘭希爾。
鄧肯頭先嗰球咧，我諗分俾阿芬尼啦，會係一個較為好少少嘅決定。
好啦，帕加，哇，係好犀利，一個就過咗啦，一個得停，可惜啦呢個波 in and out。
40比34，咁啊太陽領先6分。
其實奧尼爾講過㗎，即係要佢喺防守方面 mark 鄧肯，其實佢都唔係話真係特別好熟悉。雖然即係奧尼爾嚟咗西岸已經咁耐啊，咁但係好多時候以前佢打湖人隊嘅時候啦，湖人隊好多時候都唔使奧尼爾走去 mark 佢嘅，咁啊派其他球員去 mark 佢咧，即係保護翻奧尼爾。睇翻呢個波先啦。咁但係今時今日嚟到鳳凰城冇辦法啦。咁啊佢嚟到其中一個主要目的啦，就係要喺內線咧就係打好佢嘅防守。
我諗其實太陽啦，未必係會期待佢成場波可以 one on one 咧係守到阿鄧肯嘅，但係總之佢守得 one on one 守得佢越耐，當然就越好啦。哎呀，吹咗進攻犯規添，卻迪塔馬士咁啊第2個個人犯規啊，做單擋嗰時咧應該就係移動單擋犯規。睇下呢條波咩事先。 嗱佢咧應該就係咧左腳咧仲褪緊啊個勢咧褪向左邊咧擔開啊巴布沙嗰下。好啦，波普域治教練咧決定而家收埋佢，換翻7號嘅奧拔圖入嚟。
奧尼爾，咦？奧拔圖頂奧尼爾喎，頂唔頂得住啦？埋唔到去噶啦，奧尼爾呢下咧亦都射得唔係咁好。
奧拔圖其實算係咁樣噶啦，唔俾奧尼爾咧轉入中間咧做個勾手，要佢咧轉翻自己左邊膊頭轉向底線嗰度呢一球出手啊！
好啦，鄧肯，奧尼OK 喎，呢個波靚喎，
好嘢啊！
終於係掂鄧肯出界喎，最後。
我諗咧，其實咧太陽隊咧就係希望咧盡量用奧尼爾 one on one 守嘅時間越多。以往真係守得 mark 阿鄧肯守得好嘅球員啦，除咗咧係嗰個下盤穩陣企個位好之外啦，最緊要咧就係俾鄧肯咧有一個同佢差唔多高嘅球員啊，或者更高嘅球員喺佢面前咧干擾佢，等佢咧唔好咁輕鬆咧可以咧出手啦，嗰啲近距離嗰啲攞板啊，即係減低佢出手嗰陣時嗰個角度啊。咁啊，現場一個 time out， 10分領先，屬於太陽。兩位將來咧都會係名人堂嘅成員啊，奧尼爾同埋 Tim Duncan。今日兩個啦，好多時咧就係 one on one 咧係互相攻對方。咁同埋後邊都睇到啦，佢哋以喺職業生涯中嘅一啲成績啦。左邊呢一個咧就係太陽嘅班主啊 ，Robert Sarver 先生；右邊呢一個咧就係佢哋嘅領隊啊 ，Steve Kerr。相信大家對佢咧都唔陌生啦，特別係馬刺嘅 fans 咧。喺99年同03年啊，都係馬刺啊冠軍球隊裏邊咧一個位啦不可或缺嘅成員啊。咁雖然咧唔係即係主力球員，但係一個非常重要嘅綠葉球員，亦都係佢今年啊負責走出去啦，羅致呢位巨無霸翻嚟嘅。咁
啊，佢咪奧尼爾咧同聖安東尼奧呢個城市都息息相關嘅喎。咁啊，以前咧佢世界讀書嘅時候咧，就係喺聖安東尼奧呢一度讀過幾年嘅。
好啦，上半場仲有6分幾鐘啦，太陽啊應該話啦馬刺啦，而家都仲係啊。好啦。有第一個咧鐵三角球員以外攞分喎 ，Brent Barry。
弊喎，但係嚟到第二節嘅中段先至有喎。係咯，即係都係，但係佢哋即係而家只係攞7分啫。都未遲。頭先我哋講話，即係其實應該喺我覺得剩餘嘅時間咧，集中 focus 咧就係咧建立翻第4同埋第5個得分點啊！講緊馬刺啊，特別係班特巴利啦，即係傷咗咁耐啊，咁啊臨季尾最後嗰2場先出翻嚟啊，咁啊佢嗰個狀態能唔能夠操得起啊？喺季後賽入邊咧，即係對於馬刺隊嚟講都係一個好重要嘅關鍵嚟嘅。我諗下班特巴利，如果佢哋唔可以建立翻班特巴利或者係芬尼等人喺外線嘅威力嘅話啦，咁如果佢哋要打 inside out 嘅話咧，就嗰個戰術嘅發揮咧會有幾大嘅難度啊！因為鄧肯咧會引埋好多人咧喺佢身邊咧圍住佢，但係佢走到頭先走到成18、19尺嗰度射波，拿雪，好嘢真係，再為多傳家隻魚無人之境啦已經係。史杜達米亞咁啊攞咗18分。追咗太陽犯規，我記得舊年佢同阿 Eva Longoria 未結婚之前咧，一開咗季後賽啦，佢個老婆嗰陣時就未婚妻啦，就下一道命令話咧唔準掂佢。總之咧要到咧打完季後賽咧先至準掂佢話啊，而家結咗婚，唔知會唔會又有下一道咁嘅命令啦？我哋睇翻下咧，就係太陽隊啊！今年咧喺幾個統計有同冇奧尼爾嘅分別啊！我諗最大嗰個分別咧，同埋從佢哋嚟講啊，見得最好嘅分別就係咧籃板嗰個分別啊 margin 啊，冇佢咧平均每場失啦，比對方搶少5.6個籃板。到有咗佢之後咧，由負變翻正啊！呢一樣嘢，我覺得先至係對太陽隊一個最大嗰個作用。咁啊，亦都間接咧，即係令到對方第2起手機會係減低咗好多啦。咁啊，佢哋搶防守籃板嘅穩定性加強咗之後啦，咁啊變咗咧好多時候咧對手啦就個起手次數相對嚟講咧亦都會係減低咗。呢一點咧，即係對於鄧肯嚟講亦都好重要。譬如呢個波咁，亦都係佢孭住鄧肯個位啦，咁啊搶翻個籃板啦。因為佢哋雖然咧進攻能力好強啊，打嘅節奏好快，但係冇奧尼爾未落至奧尼爾之前咧，就最大嘅問題就係俾對方嘅太多啦喺搶進攻籃板啊！第一下唔入，第2下又入，跟住但係第2下唔入，第3下都俾你入埋。咁
不過咧就呢一個交換翻嚟到底係睇下先啦，柏加搞掂，到底係咪真係咁有效咧？我覺得而家都仲未可以下定論，因為咧內線嘅防守係加強咗啦，但係減弱咗一個喺外線防守嘅威力，少咗馬利安一個啦，真係睇翻呢度先啦。呢一球波竟然巴布沙近距離炒粉，打得好靚㗎啦，係啊！
嗱呢一段時間咧，發覺咧，即係馬刺兩樣嘢就係個波到手啦，佢哋會好快咧就係推上去啊！主要就係想打個 early offense 就等奧尼爾啦，未及得切回防嘅時候咧，就已經揾到呢隻機會。近呢2-3個進攻都係咁樣樣嘅。
咁同埋咧，真係斯里達米亞中距離跳射有建功，做多呢啲咁嘅打呢 early offense 嘅機會咧，希望啦要奧尼爾咧盡快消耗體力去到第4節。即係其實咧上一場同埋今季見過幾場賽事都係啊，太陽隊好多時都係有球威，但係去到咧比賽末段啦，保持唔到嗰種pace 嗰種節奏啊。
又再一次見到咧拿樹咧冇辦法只得掹得住咗客家啦呢個波，咁啊餵翻過嚟奧尼爾，
哇！呢個波荷利嚟㗎喎，荷利將波罩翻落嚟啊！爭到俾你，爭少少，鄧肯再補中，第2隻進攻籃板，咁啊攞咗13分啊！time out 呢段時間馬刺嗰個氣勢啦，好勁啊！荷利係佢3月21號以嚟咧第一場上陣啊！一入嚟咧即刻見佢有一個封籃，上半場仲有3分鐘，再多啲52-46，太陽領先。歡迎翻嚟 ESPN， 52-46，太陽領先。咁啊，今日咧太陽能夠咧由即係早段一路領先到依家啦。最大嘅2個原因啦，就係奧尼爾同埋呢一個斯里達米亞啦。奧尼爾唔單止喺進攻咧交到功課，喺防守咧亦都好多時間啊能夠 one on one 啦，咁啊 mark 住鄧肯。雖然鄧肯都攞到分，咁啊鄧肯咧攞到13分啊，咁啊但係頭先我哋提過啦，佢哋今日咧未能夠憑咧較多啲 inside out 嘅戰術啦，打翻起芬尼啊或者係保雲等嘅射手啊。芬尼同保雲兩個今日都仲未攞分啊。除咗柏加、贊奴比利、鄧肯3個人之外咧，唯一另外一個馬刺攞個分球員就係冇耐之前班特巴利入過3分球嘅啫。52-46啊，同埋今日咧奧尼爾同埋斯里達米亞亦都能夠避免啊太多咧係犯規前身，因此咧上陣時間咧比上一場係多啊。
好啦，貝爾呢個波咧炒咗，俾鄧肯咧搶埋籃板落嚟啊！柏加望下，奧尼爾又未翻到嚟嘅時候咧，佢又踩埋諗住咧揾着數啊！呢個波犯規就冇吹噶啦，但係邊個出界咧？哦，馬刺
攞翻控球權。但東尼教練咧舉起2個拳頭啊，到底係乜嘢意思咧？嗱，佢係咧想叫揾到Amar'e Stoudemire斯里達米亞嘅注意力啊！佢想佢望咗過嚟，佢想講啲嘢俾佢聽啊！到底係乜嘢咧？
鄧肯第一時間咧將呢個波一翻埋去，咪俾奧尼爾咧改變咗方向啊！
呢球波係舉直個手啦，將個波咧貼到啊，搏到呢個 turnover。
拿雪
嗱，佢都想攞 early offense 㗎，不過鄧肯咧動咗喺籃底，交到俾奧尼爾近距離入咗第5球。54-46。
咁啊呢個波咧亦都交失咗㗎。荷利咁啊上年啊，我覺得係呢一個系列賽嘅 MVP 啦，佢哋對住鳳凰城全靠佢啊！即係1個換2個咧就搞掂咗鳳凰城。
你呢句説話都有啲骨喎嚇。咁你講，
大家唔知記唔記得嗰場啊？嗰場第4場啊，應該係啊。
Steve Nash 咁啊，佢嗰個好幾硬朗嘅動作嘅目標咧就係拿樹啦。咁啊，迪奧同史里達米亞搞到佢2個啦，就第5場啊，一離開咗後備席啦，就被罰停賽。所以咧一個好有即係好具爭議性嘅一個系列賽啊。
好啦，荷利咁啊，好明顯地咧就佢嘅狀態應該都未恢復得好好嘅，練勤咗咁耐啊。好啦，巴布沙埋到去冇犯規喎呢個波，班特巴利嗱嗱聲將個波交過嚟，柏加踩埋中間一夾。博到犯規，
哇！咁啊，同阿拿樹啦， 似乎唔係火星撞地球，但係好似都撞到心口啊！但係呢幾分鐘咧，真係要讚一讚柏家仔啦。奧尼爾喺度，但係佢知道咧，一定要搶呢個 fans， 佢係咁咧鏟埋去籃底。其實柏家有一樣嘢啦，波普治教練講咗好耐嘅。佢話咧就有時柏家咧要練翻強壯少少啊。佢就練習嗰陣時話舉鐵啦，佢話做到夠啦，佢就算數㗎啦。呢球波睇翻啦，係咪先？拿樹奧尼爾唔知邊個咧，應該就撞到佢啦，係左邊心口啊！哇！奧尼爾啊！其實奧尼爾係好客氣㗎啦，其實即係，但係畢竟兩個人爭咗幾多磅啊？百幾磅啦，起碼咁樣撞埋嚟。不過柏家仔呢幾分鐘嘅表現啊，好啊！明知奧尼爾喺度啦，佢都照樣係鏟埋去，搏到犯規啊！
哇！哇！真係啊，感覺到嗰個震撼。
奧尼爾唔係跑到行咁撞埋去㗎咯喎！如果佢呢個俾佢跑多幾步助跑咁樣撞埋嚟，我諗柏家仔飛咗去10里之外都唔定。咁啊，柏家攞17分。不過波普治教練都講得啱嘅。咁啊，柏家啦，其實都幾飄逸㗎。唔係話佢要練到，譬如好似阿迪朗威廉士啊嗰類咁大隻啦，但係譬如好似阿 CP3 咁樣啦，佢都唔係好即係控衞嚟講好高啊。但係你睇到佢兩個手都好大隻嘅，有啲肌肉，可能柏家仔都需要咧喺呢方面咧練翻好少少。咁啊喺上一場咧，我哋見到仲有啦，波普治教練採取一個咧佢平時咧好少用嘅策略啊，故意犯規啊。上一場咧，佢哋試過故意犯啊奧尼爾，試過故意犯啊史堅拿。嗱，咁即刻見到阿史堅拿啦。
咁啊，估即係史堅拿都有罰球命中啦，同阿奧尼爾都係啊不相伯仲啦，咁差啦，
差唔多啫嘛。
咁同埋即係如果你可以令到即係咁嘅情況之下咧，要奧尼爾離開嗰場比賽嘅話咧，咁對於馬刺隊嚟講，亦都係好有利多於弊啦。好啦，搏腳搏得好靚㗎呢個波
，N1 添，贊奴比利犯規，史杜達米亞攞22分啊！嗱，以為佢喺葫蘆頂咧做一個 pick and roll 啦，但係其實咧搏到一腳，揾到其他球員咧搏腳喺45度角位咧，交俾喺中間拖埋去嘅阿馬利斯都達米亞，攞23分。柏家，埋到中間，哇！呢下咁動作靚啊！哇！係咁朝住咧籃底衝埋去，咁啊，即係頭先開波嗰時都講過啦。喺呢幾年咧，其實太陽咧係根本完全冇法子啦，係哇呢邊咧亦都係冇法子鉗制到呢個 pick and roll。太陽係完全冇法子鉗制咗柏家啦，鏟埋籃底嘅，不論係快攻啊或者係 half court 咧打 pick and roll。
好啦，柏家又加翻過嚟，爭到俾你，呢個假嘅。
唔係啊嘛，係啊，直情係啊，又係差唔多係落緊嗰陣時，摁後搞掂，61-52。
好啦，咁啊拿樹又上咧，就係同史杜達米亞打入 pick and roll 啊，咁啊今次咧埋到去籃底咧冇人跟埋你，可惜單手咧又係爭啲。柏家，今次咧比較肚腩你 feel 下，不過球證吹咗巴布沙褪緊嘅。好 aggressive 啊！喺中後段啊，第二中後段啊，柏家仔個表現啊，好進取。睇翻贊奴比利頭先啦，嗱佢攬一下啦，以為佢係重心腳係右腳啦，啊唔係喎，咁用咧左腳摁後，咁啊個人咧失晒平衡咁啊，又俾佢入到。柏家攞20分。咁啊，切入分球又得啦，喺好多尷尬角度又出到手啦，失驚無神喺外邊又射個3分球啦。咁啊，對於即係其他對手嚟講，你會覺得即係好似頭先芬尼所講話，做佢對手你覺得佢符碌，
但係咧做咗個隊友耐之後咧，覺得呢啲真係完全係佢個 style 正路。柏加21分。
哇！真係三條煙絲玩晒喎，今日聖安東尼奧到而家為止都仲係得佢哋3個，即係除咗班特巴利入咗個3分球之外，其他球員都未攞過分。Nash， 哇！係咪走步咧？有少少
走步應該係啦，係啦。今次咧，鄧肯咧睇到佢哋嗰個嘅意欲啦，就係想話用阿馬利斯達米亞 roll in 啊。咁啊，所以咧，鄧肯首先咧攝咗史達米亞咧係右邊嗰個位啊，佢根本係under the pick 啦。鄧肯咧企咗喺大約實線圈附近左右嗰個位置，封咗史達米亞右邊條去路。咁佢突然間咧想話轉翻去左邊嗰陣時咧走步。芬尼都喺度㗎，贊奴比利係個3分球。好啦，半場打完，61-54，鳳凰城太陽領先。上半場太陽嘅投射命中率有成63%。奧尼爾同埋史達米亞兩個人只係各有1個犯規在身。史達米亞咧真係恐怖啊！25分，射13球入11個。我哋即刻捉住佢咧做一個訪問先。佢話咧暫時嘅發展咧唔錯㗎，因為咧上一場咧我都講過話，如果我同奧尼爾冇犯規前身嘅話咧，比賽嘅形勢咧係應該唔同嘅。咁今日咧的確咧暫時一半場嚟講咧，證明咗佢嗰個眼光啦，個睇法係正路。咁佢話咧就馬刺咧喺上半場啦，柏加或者贊奴比利都係嘗試咧拖埋籃底取分。咁啊呢一點咧下半場係太陽咧需要作出一個調整。
Congratulations, we'll see you in the second half. Tim Duncan, here is Shaq, who had a great first half as well. 11 points, 4 blocks, and 6 rebounds. Did a nice job in the paint. More importantly, Shaq only 1 personal foul in the first half, so he has 5 fouls to give in that second half. And Kevin, we talk about points in the paint. You heard the studio, Kenny and the boys talking about it. Points in the paint at the free throw line in game 1. 45 of their 50 points came in those 2 areas. Well, how about tonight? The trend has continued. 24 points in the paint, 6 at the line, so 30 of their 38. So they're getting in the lane. I have a question, though, Kevin. Are they going to be able to win this game if only their 3 stars are the ones scoring? Right now, Phoenix has better balance. The 3 stars from the Spurs have been brilliant. Only 3 points by Brent Berry. The rest of them belong to Parker, Ginobili, and Duncan.
Oberto started the game, but Thomas starts the second half for the San Antonio Spurs. Coming off a screen, Finley over Bell. Duncan set the screen right out of the block. Nice play by San Antonio.
It's exactly what they did in the third quarter the other night. Michael Finley had been shut out. He came out and hit the first 2 baskets and got himself going in the second half.
They go to Shaq, and they got Thomas on him. Shaq is 5 of 9.
Interesting little change there. They come in with Kurt Thomas, so Duncan does not have to guard Shaq. Kurt Thomas, a pretty good low post defender, and he's actually a guy who can make some open shots. We'll see how this substitution for Pop works.
But Shaq will be guarding Duncan down low. Here comes Finley. Pick and roll. Duncan. Switch on defense. Bell was on Duncan. Shaq goes out on Finley, and Finley's hit 2 in a row.
Remember last night with the Houston-Utah game? The third quarter of that game started exactly the way it did in Game 1. The same way here tonight with Michael Finley coming out and knocking down a couple shots.
It's Stoudemire over Duncan. And the rebound pulled down by Michael Finley, who gets his first rebound tonight.
If San Antonio gets a score here, I might get a timeout. It's a bad pass here by Finley, but I think they're going to call a foul on Amar'e Stoudemire holding the jersey of Tim Duncan.
That's 2 on Amar'e Stoudemire. Shaq has 1. Diaw has 2. Those are the big men for the Phoenix Suns. David, what do you have?
Unhappy. The Spurs were not unhappy with their offensive production in the first half. As you mentioned, Doug, it's all about the defense. That's why you see Kurt Thomas. They have got to take away some of Shaq's favorite moves, a little hook over his shoulder. They want to turn him baseline or to the middle. And defensively, they have to do a better job effort-wise against Stoudemire.
Shaq came out on Duncan. Thank you, David. Rebound by Grant Hill. They're monitoring his minutes with the groin injury that he had in March and aggravated on Saturday in Game 1 here in San Antonio. Nash, who has 9 assists, into Shaq, around Duncan. Knocked away, out of bounds, 8 seconds on the shot clock. Phoenix really feels, Doug, you and I got this feeling, Phoenix really feels they're the better team.
I think that's why they weren't so upset after Game 1. I think if you're not the better team and you lose that game, you're more upset. They're very confident.
Shot clock at 4. Nash trying to escape Bowen. A 7-time all-defensive player in the NBA. 24-second shot clock violation. 4 consecutive years, Bruce Bowen has been a first-team all-defensive selection. 7 straight years, first or second.
And when the game is close, he can be on the floor and guard Nash. When they get behind, they have to take him out and put a better offensive team on the floor, and they miss his defense.
Off the screen, a throwaway by Tony Parker. Here comes Nash, 4 consecutive empty trips for the Phoenix Suns. Bowen is on Nash. Stoudemire, picked up by Duncan. It's Tony Parker against Grant Hill. Grant Hill picks up his first. We take a look at our Dodge game summary. These are first half numbers through 24 minutes of basketball.
Well, I think the thing that jumps out there, David Aldridge was talking, the Suns have shot 61%. That's what Greg Popovich was talking about. This is a team that's calling card through the years in the championship has been defense. They've got to get a handle, and especially on Amar'e Stoudemire and all that pick and roll game that he and Steve Nash have worked so beautifully. Nash had 9 assists and only 1 turnover in that first half. But the Suns have come out here sloppily in this third quarter, and the Spurs have come out with a nice edge about them. There's another situation. They didn't come up with a rebound to see if they changed this call. See who it's going to go to. They pointed to the Spurs. But if I'm Mike D'Antoni, if the Spurs get a score here, I might call a timeout, a 20-second, and get the sense of urgency back with my team. Right now, they're sleepwalking here to start this third quarter.
Finley off the Duncan screen over Bale. Michael Finley is at 3 consecutive shots to open up the second half for the San Antonio Spurs. 11-0 run by San Antonio. Going back to late first half, we're tied at 61.
Execution under pressure. That's going to decide this game.
Thomas watching Shaq, who is 5 of 11. Rebound by Tim Duncan, number 11. Parker for the lead. Offensive foul, wipe it away.
I tell you, Steve Nash does a great job with that. This is a guy who probably weighs about 175 pounds, and how often we've seen him size the guy up here. Parker tries to step by him, and Nash reads it pretty well. He takes the shot into the chest. A nice play. More importantly now, the Suns have got to find something on offense. They've tried to go to Shaq, and Thomas has done a good job with him defensively. Let's see if they go back with that pick and roll with Amar'e Stoudemire and Steve Nash.
In the midst of our first time, on this defensive switch, Duncan was defending Nash. It's picked up by Tony Parker. Into Bell, over Nash. And Bell gets it for the Phoenix Suns. Bowen is on Nash. Into Thomas, it's Shaq. A couple different moves, and Thomas picks up another foul. We mentioned earlier in the first half that he had a nice presence in Game 1, taking 3 charges. That's a tough thing to do. That's his 3rd foul right here as we take a look at a comparison of our numbers, first and second half in overtime. This is going back to Game 1 on Saturday here at the AT&T Center.
And you see the 77 points there, Kevin, the 59% shooting. In Game 1, the Spurs scored on 25 of their last 38 possessions. What I was talking about, execution under pressure, championship poise. This game is going to be like this the rest of the half. And see, Kurt Thomas has come in, and his presence really lifted his team. Took a couple hard fouls, did a nice job defensively. Oberto's back in. Now he's got to do the job for them.
8 consecutive empty trips for the Phoenix Suns down court. Shaq is 1 of 4 from the line with 11. 6 rebounds. Screen by Duncan. Pick and roll. Parker with the feed and the foul. And Shaquille O'Neal, who doesn't defend Doug the pick and roll very well, picks up his second personal foul.
Now, even when he was younger, that was the one area that teams used to always try to get involved in the pick and roll. And Kevin, I mentioned something early in the game. I said, you know, we have to watch Shaquille O'Neal, and you know, if fatigue becomes a factor, this is a very fast-paced game, much more than the other nights. And Shaq played 30 minutes in that game. But remember, only 5 in the first half. He played a ton of minutes in the first half, and that could be a factor. He's played 22 minutes here tonight, and we still have 8 and change in this quarter, and then the entire fourth quarter. So keep your eye on Shaq, because a lot of times when he gets tired, it's when he picks up those fouls.
Duncan 1 of 3 from the line, playing with the double-double tonight. How about him freezing at the line like that?
I could never shoot like that. I always try to be a rhythm shooter where you use that dribble and the bounce to get into your shot. He just stops. The other nights in the second half, he missed 4 straight in the fourth quarter. Lucky that did not come back to haunt them.
Phoenix, nothing from the field has gone in the last 5 minutes. The drive by Stoudemire into Duncan. The rebound by Shaquille O'Neal. Knocked away inside. Parker. Bowen. Parker. Boy, his eyes got big. He thought he saw Finley getting open. A screen by Duncan.
Spurs have had about 5 opportunities to take the lead.
Bowen over Bell. The rebound by Hill. 7.5 to play here in the third quarter from San Antonio with Doug Collins and David Aldridge, Kevin Harlan. Game 2. Nash to Stoudemire.
Boy, the Suns have just gone ice cold. The Spurs have picked up their defense. None of those layups or dunks that we saw in the first half.
Phoenix 0 of 7 so far in this third quarter shooting. Trying to take the lead. Here is Bowen, picked up by Hill. Finley for the lead over Bell.
What a pro. Michael Finley, what a pro.
8 points, Doug, all coming in this third quarter. Michael Finley is 13 years out of Wisconsin. A former #1 pick by the Phoenix Suns. Last night, Doug and I were in Houston, Texas. Then Doug got behind the wheel of this wonderful 2009 Dodge Journey. We stopped at Whataburger. We knocked over a couple skunks. We nailed a couple possums. But baby, we were cruising the Dodge Journey through the streets of San Antonio, coming from I-10 in Houston. That's the way we travel at TNT, and we take a timeout. See Nash there in the background taking a breather. What kind of adjustments did Nash have to make to his game when Shaq joined the Suns?
Well, the spacing was different. They went from being a team that pushed the ball ahead and made 10 threes a game and took 24 to being a team that's more half-court, more power-oriented. And it took a while, but Steve Nash, being the maestro that he is taken to it very well.
That's an explanation. 8 to shoot. Diaw over Udoka. Rebounded by Tim Duncan, number 16. And now there's no shot clock with which to work, just the game clock. Finishing out the third quarter, we're down to 9.
Now, Ginobili's going to seek contact. Are you going to try to jump into your chest and get a foul? There's another foul on Raja Bell. So 2 bad plays here by the Suns. They fouled Ginobili, the possession before, and now Bell takes this out. So
Bell's got 2.
Just reach out and grab him right there. You cannot get away with that. So you can see it's a staple of pick and roll. They're going to get Shaq's man involved in the pick and roll. They're going to get him underneath the basket and then look to attack him and try to get to the foul line.
Finley and Barry will check out, and Jacques Vaughn along with Bruce Bowen, 2 defensive players, will check in the San Antonio Spurs. 6.1 to play here in the third quarter. San Antonio leading 1-0 won a double overtime 2-point game on Saturday here. A loss, Phoenix would be devastating, very tough. We do go back to Phoenix in this series. Here's Jiricek over Ginobili. Rebounded by Duncan. Closing the third. Well, a terrific third quarter for the defending champion San Antonio Spurs. We saw a 16-point swing in that third quarter alone. San Antonio trying to go up 2-0, leading Phoenix after 3. 80 said it would be a devastating loss for the Phoenix Suns if they go on to lose tonight. Doug, that would mean Phoenix would have to win 4 of the next 5 games against the defending champions.
Yeah, and they'd have to win, you know, a game here. That's a tall order. That's why this next 12 minutes is so important.
Here we go. Nash 6 of 10, 12 points, 9 assists. Bowen is in on Nash. Stoudemire being guarded by Alberto. The drive inside, trying to force the issue inside the paint. The foul goes on Manu Ginobili, who picks up number 2.
Well, we know how quickly games can change, especially if Amar'e Stoudemire gets going again. You see no points, 0 of 4 in that third quarter, was totally out of sync. The Suns, when they came out of that locker room, never had any rhythm, and the pace of the game so favored the Spurs. They want to get that ball up the floor with Parker and Ginobili. They did a great job. Let's see if the Suns can get control of this game.
Shaq out there, and a veteran, a guy who's won 4 NBA championships with Los Angeles and most recently with the Miami Heat, with some words of encouragement. On the bench right now is Tim Duncan of San Antonio. So the Suns out there with Stoudemire, Diaw, Barbosa, Steve Nash, and Gordon Giricek is in. Here comes Finley along with Ginobili. Alberto with the screen over Stoudemire. It's Ginobili who puts it up 3-ball. 28 for Manu Ginobili, the game high, 28. For the 6th-man award winner in the NBA this season.
The guy Ginobili, who I was talking about, had that flat jump shot in game 1, was 0 of 6 from 3. Tonight he's hit 3 threes.
Now they're playing Twister. Giricek wants a timeout and gets it. And gets it.
If they foul Shaq and I leave him in, let him foul him. That's why I'm leaving him in. He can make them.
Although Shaq is on the bench right now, you see what he's done at the free throw line tonight. The hack of Shaq orchestrated by San Antonio. We've got an 11-point game. Shot clock down to 7. Here comes Diaw, guarded by Udoka. Alberto is watching Stoudemire. Rebound by Bowen. Stoudemire is 11 of 19.
Anytime you can force him to take that jump shot and stay out of the lane, your odds improve greatly on being able to defend him.
Alberto the screen.
We've seen about 100 pick and rolls tonight. Ginobili and Parker, that's all they're doing here, is spreading the floor and forcing these Suns bigs to try to defend it.
Nice offensive rebound by Bruce Bowen. Here's Tony Parker in the game, 8 of 16 with 22.
Here we go again. Now it's Alberto this time, forcing Amar'e Stoudemire to play it.
Switch on defense. Stoudemire watches Parker. He can't keep up with him.
Neither can the Roadrunner.
San Antonio plus 12 points in the paint over the Phoenix Suns. Pass to Stoudemire, another turnover. And Stoudemire saves it, or does he? Look at this. At the Keystone Cops, here comes Parker. 3-on-2. Bowen passed up an open mid-range shot. And they recock with Ginobili.
Guess what they're going to run here again?
Yep, little skin roll, Alberto. They got the switch on defense, and look at it is. Called a foul on Gordon Giricek.
If I'm Mike D'Antoni, I know you've got some three-point shooters out there right now for the San Antonio Spurs. I might go back to that zone just to try to change this game up right now, because the Spurs are kicking the ball out, and either Parker or Ginobili are taking the ball in the middle of the floor, and they're just working off one of the big guys. They either get Shaq involved in the pick and roll or Amar'e Stoudemire. And those guards are getting in the paint, and it's been devastating for the Suns. They have no answers.
Thomas is in, Udoka is out. Gone is Giricek for the Phoenix Suns along with Barbosa. Coming in is Raja Bell along with Shaquille O'Neal. Tim Duncan still sitting. It's Parker. Into Alberto. Getting by Stoudemire. What a pass by Tony Parker. He's come up with his 6th assist. Alberto, one of the starters tonight with his first 2 on his first shot.
It's been an amazing turnaround. The defense has been stifling by the Spurs.
Shaq guarded by Kurt Thomas, playing with 3 fouls. Knocks it away right there and draws another foul.
This guy was a big part of their turnaround. Kurt Thomas, he only played about 3 or 4 minutes in that third quarter, but he started out on Shaq. He let Duncan get off him, and that really changed the momentum of this game.
Thomas picks up his 4th. Dave, what do you have?
As you remember, Kurt Thomas was on the Phoenix Suns last year. They traded him in the offseason to Seattle because this was a team that did not want to pay luxury tax, didn't want to pay Thomas's salary. He wound up going back to San Antonio, a team that wanted him all along. They wanted him because they knew they needed somebody that could guard Shaquille O'Neal in the playoffs. And Kurt Thomas has become that guy, a guy who's accepted a role coming off the bench as a defense-first person. Guys?
Thomas is gone. They bring in Tim Duncan. Thank you. That's one of the reasons why Phoenix got Shaq, is to duel with Duncan in situations like this. 6 of 12 from the free throw line for Shaquille O'Neal tonight. 9.5 to play in regulation.
Suns had 61 points at halftime. They have 12 here with 9.5 to go in the period.
This is the third leading team, the leading scoring team in the NBA is Phoenix. And look at Tony and Antonio Spurs, Doug, plus 26 points in the paint over the Suns tonight. They're plus 16 points over the Suns in the lane. Bruce volumes.
Well, here they go again. It's going to just, you see the one-on-one play. You got Diaw now guarding Parker. Normally they would like Grant Hill in the game. That leg really must be bothering him, because this is what they'd like for him to do, is guard Parker in the last 8 minutes of the game.
Phoenix 4 of 23 in the second half from the field. Bell ramming his way into Parker, out to Nash, and covered screen by Bell. Knocking out Parker. That's a triple for Steve Nash, who has 15 points on a 7 of 11 shooting night. Now 7:07 to play, and the Suns to within 13. Do they have enough left in their arsenal, in their chambers, to get back in?
Absolutely. They could score 13 points in about 2 minutes.
6, a Koopabau.
Well, Tony Parker has 28 points tonight, and apropos on this drive in the lane, 20 of them in the paint. So they have not been able to keep him out of the paint. And, you know, a big part of that is when you think of Tony Parker right now, the last game when they beat them, the last couple games, Grant Hill guarded him the last 7-8 minutes. Grant Hill over on the floor, that leg really bothering him. This is where they missed Shawn Marion at the deal. So getting Shaq obviously was a big boost for them. But with Grant Hill being hurt, this is where you miss the defense of Shawn Marion.
That's a good point. Parker tries to sneak it into Tim Duncan. He then tried to go around Stoudemire. Picked up by Boris Diaw. Where's the three-point shooting gone for the Phoenix Suns?
You know, 3 of 10 tonight. Again, Kevin, this is a team that averaged almost 10 makes last year and took 24 shots.
Diaw, Stoudemire right into Alberto. Another miss. Stoudemire still has not hit from the field in the second half. 0 of 7. Look at the speed of Parker knifing his way in. 18 on the shot clock, and possession San Antonio.
He's going to keep the pressure on you. Kevin, one of the things you have to do with your big men, they have to sprint and they have to turn around and start seeing the ball, because he's going to run the ball and push it right up your back and create contact. That's what he tried to do on that play.
Second half shooting for the Suns, 0 of 7 Stoudemire, Shaq 1 of 4. That's 1 of 11 by those two important players for the Phoenix Suns. Duncan, Ginobili for 3. It was over Rajon Bell. It's picked up by Shaq, and it's off to Nash, and that's a whistle and a foul on the Spurs. Alberto will pick up the foul. Undrafted out of Argentina, played on that Olympic gold medal winning team back in 04. And that's the 4th on Alberto. So walk to the other end, and here is Stoudemire at the line, where tonight he is 6 of 7. Let's check the national TV schedule. Tomorrow, NBA TV, Sixers and Detroit. Game 2, that's been the talk so far of this first round. Friday, ESPN, ESPN2's Game 3s, Pistons, Philly, New Orleans, Dallas. And then this Spurs-Phoenix series resumes. And Sunday on ABC, Game 4s, Cleveland, Washington, San Antonio, Phoenix. What do you think about the way the Wizards ended that game last night with Cleveland?
They're playing out of character. I think their whole thought process was to try to knock around LeBron James and knock him off his game and stuff. That has not worked. They're going to have to get back to playing the way they normally do. LeBron 6'8", 260. Love his demeanor, taking the contact, and just playing great basketball right now.
Ginobili got a Duncan screen. Bell fights through it. Shot clock is down to 7. Ginobili, Duncan into Stoudemire. Backed away and out of bounds, and it's off of Tim Duncan.
Now the Spurs have lost a little of their edge, but the Suns have not been able to take advantage. They've gotten some defensive stops, but they haven't been able to score.
Nash. Ginobili watches Diaw.
Diaw's got a score over here at Ginobili. He's got this huge advantage. Just go up and shoot your jump hook.
Now he's doubled and hemmed in. Shaq to Stoudemire. Stoudemire had it knocked away inside with defense by Duncan. Shot clock is at 0. We've got a jump ball that he called down there. 24-second shot clock violation. Dick Bavetta overrules the call from the far side on the call by Mauer underneath.
Great scramble and hustle underneath the basket. Both teams, you see Tim Duncan there, a 4-time champion, diving on the floor for the loose ball, but Diaw here is trying to be too crafty. Just go up and shoot your jump hook. You're 6'9", play over the top at Ginobili. Now, Amar'e Stoudemire very frustrated in the second half. He feels like he's been fouled 2 or 3 times and has not gotten the call.
Duncan, a great screen. Parker lost the ball and gets it back, and a foul on Phoenix. Parker's got 28, Ginobili's got 28, Duncan's got 15. 4 fouls on Boris Diaw. Now they've changed it. It's on Shaq, and he has 4. They just changed the call.
I think he tripped over Shaq's foot. He stumbled there, and watch him as he picks the ball up. He's going to trip over his foot right there. Trips over the left foot, and that is a huge foot to trip over. It's about a size 23. That's why it's tough for Shaq to take offensive fouls around the basket to get himself out of the restricted area.
Shaq tonight 33 minutes.
Here comes the Spurs.
And no foul trouble for O'Neal. Bell watching Ginobili. Duncan a screen. It was deflected by Bell. It's picked up by Steve Nash. But look how San Antonio's back on defense. They're not going to get burned on that transition. That was their mantra coming into tonight. At the same time, run the other way. That's why they lead so heartily at fast break points. Diaw inside over Duncan. Picked up by Tony Parker.
Suns trying to take advantage of the mismatch. That time it was Tony Parker, so Diaw has not finished that ball on the block in about 3 or 4 possessions.
Parker around 2 different screens, sails in for 2 with a game-high 30 points.
A big difference in game 1, game 2. Diaw and Barbosa had 24 in that game, only 9 tonight.
Nash 7 of 11, right into Parker and into Duncan. Nash with 17.
Here comes the Spurs right back on the attack.
Over Duncan, it's Parker. Rebounded by Shaq, collecting his 14th. Racing the other way, Ron Chabelle, and collides into Kurt Thomas and a foul. Number 5 on Kurt Thomas, who just got off the bench. So San Antonio, Doug, it's been a pretty simple yet very effective game plan. Get back on defense, halt the transition of Phoenix, and then race it the other way and give the Suns a little taste of what they like to do, some fast-breaking basketball.
Well, I think they feel like with a big lineup with Shaq and Amar'e Stoudemire in there that they have the advantage in the speed game, pushing that ball up and down the floor. I mean, Tony Parker and Ginobili have done that brilliantly, and then what happens, Kevin, is they go right into these pick and rolls, so they get you on the move. You know, you can defend a pick and roll if you get back in a half court, and you've talked about it, you've walked through in your walkthrough, but when you get guys on the move, you know, it's not nearly as easy to do. That's why they're looking to push the ball up the floor so quickly so that the Suns can't get back defensively.
Phoenix at the line in this 4th quarter, 6 of 12. And approaching 4 to play in regulation. Look at that, fast break points, my goodness. Oh, nice screen by Thomas. The drive by Ginobili. That is a foul, and it's on Thomas, and he is gone. Coveted a player here in San Antonio like Kurt Thomas for many years, and this is how he'll probably finish his career, but so effective and does little things, the hustle, the mid-range jump shot, the rebounding, the defense.
Well, that's really what this Spurs team is built on. You take their 3 great players, Parker, Ginobili, and Duncan, and what Greg Popovich and R.C. Buford, their general manager, have done here is put the pieces around them. If you notice, there's no young guys on this team. They've got veteran players, Michael Finley with the amnesty rule from Dallas. You've got Bruce Bowen, an older player. Tony Parker is still a young guy. Ginobili's 30 now, coming off the bench. Udoka is 30 years old, so they have veteran players to go with their stars. They know their window to win championships is now.
Bowen is in for Thomas, who just fouled out. Gordon Giricek is coming for Shaq, and he drives on Duncan. Tapped up once and twice, finally hitting it. Stoudemire, first field goal of the second half. 30 points, his first field goal since the final minute of the first half here in Texas tonight.
Now, the old Phoenix Suns, you say it's a 3-possession game. It's only 9 points.
Finley by Giricek into Duncan, defended by Stoudemire very well, by the way.
Be careful, Nash pulling up and shooting a 3 here.
Bowen is all over Nash and picks up the foul for San Antonio. Bowen's got 2.
Things are starting to get a little edgy here now for the San Antonio Spurs. Kevin, I talked about before, they got that working lead, and then they sort of bogged down a little bit. The Suns have done a much better job defensively. It's a 10-2 run now. Nash, one of the best free throw shooters in the league at 90%, will step to the line, and he could make this a 7-point game.
Nash, first trip to the free throw line tonight. Isn't that something?
How about Nash's numbers on the year? That we talk about his assists, Kevin. How about this for shooting? Steve Nash. You know how hard it is to shoot 50% from the floor as a guard, 47% from 3, and 91% from the free throw line, as well as all he does with the assist and the way he plays. You know what kind of conditioning you have to do to be able to use that kind of energy and still be able to shoot the ball that well?
And he's been fighting the flu as well. He just saw a couple of game 2s coming up tomorrow night on TNT. Atlanta, Boston. Nuggets taking on Kobe and the Lakers. Coverage begins at 8 Eastern tomorrow night, TNT. That's the run by Phoenix right there. Finley.
There's the money man, Duncan. Can he find a field goal?
Can Stoudemire's play defense on Duncan? They double him with Dion. 2 times now, Duncan has gone into Stoudemire. 2 times Stoudemire stopped him. Nash. Screen by Diaw. Switch on defense. Berry's on Nash. Another Stoudemire screen. Another switch. It's Duncan on Nash. Watch out. 21 now for Steve. And look at our score. 5-point game. 9 in the quarter by Nash.
Look at quickly how quickly that goes, Kevin. It was a 13-point lead. You asked me. It was 94-81. 10-2 run.
Ginobili, defensive switch. Stoudemire on him right now. Shot clock at 7. Diaw is on Parker. Friends from France battling one-on-one. Into Duncan. A foul called on Stoudemire, who thought he had defended well. That's the 3rd on Amar'e.
We'll see, though. Tim Duncan has had his moments at the free throw line. We'll see if he can step up and knock them down. 2 big free throws here. Parker, at the last minute, the nice drop-off pass, and Tim Duncan's going to try to get these 2 free throws to sort of stem the tide for the San Antonio Spurs.
What a comeback for the Suns. Down 1 game to none in this series.
Antonio Spurs team, after scoring only 3 points of the 54 in the first half, they have come back and really helped Parker, Ginobili, and Duncan. Of the 42 points now scored by the Spurs in the second half, they have 20 of them, so almost half the points in the second half. Now, Tim Duncan's going to go to the line. Kevin, he's 1 of 4 tonight, and I mentioned the other night he missed 4 straight in the fourth quarter of that game. So we'll see if Tim Duncan can step up and sort of give the Spurs a little bit more breathing room as the Suns have cut this lead down to 5.
Well, the Spurs had that big lead of 17, 94-77, with just under 8 to play in the fourth, and the Suns dug in a 14-2 run, including the last 10. Duncan 15 points and 17 rebounds tonight. Finley, Duncan, Berry, Ginobili, and Parker, the San Antonio 5. And the Phoenix Suns out there with Stoudemire, Nash, Dion, Giricek, and Bell. Now they take out Berry, they bring in Bowen to the San Antonio Spurs.
You know what? It's interesting when you look at Tim Duncan. Normally shooters have the ball with the seams lined up, so you see the rotation. If you watch Tim Duncan when he's got the ball, he doesn't have his hands with the seams where that ball spins. You watch it, so his hand is on ball. Normally you would have it where those seams are lined up where you would see the ball spin. He really hesitates. He's got that little pigeon-toed style at the line. That was a big free throw there to push it back to 6.
Fans can't watch, and Shaq is trying to distract him. Duncan had missed his last 3 at the stripe until that hit right there. Stops a 10-0 run by Phoenix. Bowen is on Nash. Finley is watching Dion. That's a travel. And a turnover for the Phoenix Suns. They've turned it over 13 times to San Antonio's 11.
Well, they've gone down to Dion about 4 times, and he's gone dry on them. They felt like he's had the mismatch. They've gone away from Amar'e Stoudemire. Steve Nash has no assists in the second half after having 9 assists and only 1 turnover in the first half. He has no assists here in the second half and 3 turnovers. So Mike D'Antoni trying to take advantage of Boris Diaw's size, and he has not been able to deliver against a smaller player.
Oberto's coming for Bowen. Shaq is coming for Gordon Giricek. Shaq is watching Duncan. Ginobili is being tailed by Bell. Off to Duncan! Shaq got lost, and Stoudemire was left right there. Duncan with 18 points. Huge basket for the San Antonio Spurs, up by 8. With a minute and a half to play in regulation. Shaq is screened. Nash with the floater over Duncan. Nash again, 23.
Still plenty of time. We saw the finish of that game the other night. Got to get a couple stops defensively if you're the Suns. You got to play without fouling.
Diaw is guarding Parker, then knocked out by the screen of Duncan, so the switch on defense. Now they got Shaq on Parker. Shot clock is at 5. Tony Parker.
In the absence of Grant Hill, the Suns have gone to Boris Diaw, a bigger player against Parker, that time after the switch.
Stoudemire the screen, Nash the miss. Rebound by Ginobili. Off to Parker with 32 in the game and 10 in the 4th quarter for Tony Parker. Phoenix has a foul to give. Over Shaq. Parker again. Oberto saves it. Finley's got it. A fresh shot clock with which to work. Suns have a foul to give. Parker. Throws it away as Duncan was going in unison down that baseline. 22.5 to play and a timeout taken. It's an 8-point game and San Antonio is on top and looking to go 2-0 up on Phoenix in this series.
You get in that lane and bad things happen to the defense. And this is when Shaq got switched out. And Tony Parker does the right thing. He measures it, gets his rhythm, knocks down the shot, and that could be the shot that leads him to the 2-0 lead. Advantage in game 1. It was 72-46 for the Spurs tonight. 14 points in the paint. The turnover story. The Spurs, one of the best in the league at taking care of the ball. They averaged less than turnovers, 13 turnovers in the regular season, which is 4th best. They were +6 off turnovers. 78 of the 101 points, the big 3 stars, and execution under pressure. The 3rd quarter really did the Suns in. You saw the numbers, the free throw misses. More importantly, Amar'e Stoudemire never got in rhythm in the second half after a brilliant first half. Now, Phoenix is going to be heading back unless something miraculously happens here, Kevin. Back to Phoenix Friday night for Game 3. And then Sunday afternoon for Game 4. And it's going to be interesting. Can they get home? And even this series 2-2, you and I will have Game 5, if there is a Game 5 here, next Tuesday.
Amar'e 1 of 9 in the second half, guarded by Oberto. Nash, guarded by Bowen. Off to Stoudemire. Oberto there, a 3. Good! What a shot by Amar'e Stoudemire with 33. 5-point game. 14 seconds to play. Timeout, Duncan. Timeout, San Antonio. Dallas falls down 0-2 now to New Orleans. They played that in New Orleans. As the Hornets have moved on, Phoenix may drop down 0-2 now against San Antonio. Utah has that same lead over Houston. Doug and I were in Houston last night. We'll be in Salt Lake on Thursday. Lakers tomorrow night on TNT against Denver. leading 1 game to none. That three-point shot, by the way, by Stoudemire, only his 6th make in 32 tries from three-point territory. So the Spurs had the big lead of 17 with 7:57 left in the fourth. Doug, the Suns have chiseled away at it on a 19-7 run.
Well, big thing here is if you get that ball to Manu Ginobili, maybe a Brent Berry, Michael Finley, they have 3 of their best free throw shooters on the floor. You do have a timeout if you need it, if you can't get it in. Second here is precious.
Only 0.2 of a second off the clock.
I think it should be at least 0.3 comes off. Anytime you tip the ball, it's 0.3.
Yeah.
So see if they take that down to maybe 14 seconds. If it was 14-3.
Out there for San Antonio, Ginobili, Finley, Berry, Tony Parker with 32, and Tim Duncan with 18 and 17 rebounds. And Bial, Giracek, Stoudemire, Nash, and Bell out there for the Phoenix Suns. They do take the second off, or the 0.1 of a second off, so it is 14 right on the screws.
See what your Phoenix here too. Mike D'Antoni had to draw up the play that he wanted because they only have 1 20-second timeout left. And you can move the ball on a 20-second timeout, so they're going to have to be able to either get a steal here or foul, and it probably go length of the floor to try to get a basket and then maybe get a time. So they're going to have to really work against this Broncos. They can only get 1 timeout to move the ball.
Duncan again to inbound. I think that's 14.3 on the clock. Oh, look at that collision. Duncan looking to inbound, gives it off to Ginobili. Melted by Bell. Hard foul.
Let's see if they're going to call it a flagrant. Let's see what they call here.
That's what the discussion is about now between Leon Wood and Dick Bavetta. Bell kind of cemented his reputation as a stout defensive player in that series a couple years ago against Kobe Bryant of the Los Angeles Lakers.
Well, Steve Nash tried to take a charge. No call there, and Ginobili gets up. And at the end of the play, you're going to see Roger Bell with a little extracurricular. Takes the foul.
That's the exact kind of way he went at Kobe a couple years ago.
Kobe clotheslined. Yeah. So it's that right there, he went at the arm. But, I mean, Kobe, he clotheslined him. So there was no... gray area there, so to speak. But Raja Bell, one of the reasons why the Suns signed him was to play against guys like Manu Ginobili and Kobe Bryant, the great 2 guards in the Western Conference. They felt like they had no matchups, and he really has been that tough defender that plays these guys night in and night out.
Finley is out, and Vaughn has come in for San Antonio. 13.5 on the clock.
See, with that miss now, I mean, even if he makes this, it's a 2-possession game. Had he made him, it's a 3-possession game. So that miss still keeps the door open for the Phoenix Suns.
6-point game. Dial guarded by Ginobili in the 3. Rebounded by Stoudemire. He hit 1 3 moments ago. He tees up another, missing there. Parker's got it. Zeros on the clock. And San Antonio is going up 2 games to none. The defending champions have held on a late surge by the Phoenix Suns. Up 2 games to none. And now Phoenix knows that they've got to win 4 of the next 5. Very tough odds, and those numbers speak volumes. David, take it away.
Tony. First half, they got going offensively. What happened to turn it around defensively for you in the second half?
We just tried to stay in the game. It was a little bit like game 1. We was down like 16, and we just fight through it and try to cut it before halftime. We was down 7, and then we just had a great third quarter. They scored 11 points in the third quarter.
You got yourself going, Manu got going, but you also got Finley and Udoka and some other guys to contribute.
Hey, that's huge. Everybody needs to score points against Phoenix because they're going to score a lot of points.
You got banged really bad by Shaq in the first half. What? I mean, did that wake you up? What happened there?
It's okay. My wife will take care of me. Tu me manques, mon amour. Tu me manques.
I don't know what that means, but it sounded good, guys.
You bet it sounded good. Our producer tonight was Scott Cockrell. Our game was directed by Lonnie Dale. The defending champs are up 2 games to none over Shaq and the Phoenix Suns. Our statistician tonight, Pat McGrath. Doug Collins and David Aldridge and the rest of our terrific TNT crew. Kevin Harlan saying goodnight from San Antonio. Right now, let's take you to our TNT Arena with Ernie Johnson, Kenny the Jet, and Sir Charles.